Oh my god. Okay, so the last couple of times I've tried this hasn't worked. My computer's been having a couple of problems. But let me try doing it now. Fingers crossed. I've already seen the first couple of minutes several times. So unfortunately it's very new. One comment from the beginning, I think it's funny how like Alexis is clearly being a manual labourer, thinks he's going on a fun holiday, but nope. It's actually just becoming a 15 cents an hour manual labourer. What's in the barrel, by the way?
Myanmar. Shut off from the outside world for decades, tourism is now thriving in a few choice spots.
Naturally, we'd be bypassing these and heading up to the remote north of the country.
We weren't sure exactly what we'd find there, and given the ever-present authoritarian undercurrents, we weren't sure how easy it would be to get there.
Our journey started in the capital, Yangon.
Up here is a
Classic wet Alexis. When I first saw this I was like, he's so wet, and then it's like literally 15 seconds later I was going to find out why.
This guy's doing fried frogs.
Really long and weirdly elongated. Look at that, that's crazy.
You might have noticed a certain moist quality to these initial shots. That's because, purely by chance, we arrived in Myanmar during the Tingyan Water Festival. These New Year festivities are the only time the authoritarian government allows large gatherings, and people certainly make the most of it. Here, jotting out all of his money.
Who's that poor man being sprayed? It's not very nice.
It's a work in progress. But yeah.
Well, the lens is completely covered.
So we're trying to flag down one of the trucks. Here we go. Can we go on? We get on? Minglaba. Hello.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
You let spread.
Minglaba. Oh, whoa.
That was just straight in the face.
Wow.
Stop for about 15 seconds.
I want to say that you very progress man flashing me.
This festival was a myriad of strange different things. Now I found some people playing fake instruments.
Oh my god, they just pretending to play.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year! How do I say it in Burmese? In Burmese, how Happy New Year? Burmese.
Happy New Year.
It was time to leave Yangon and head north. The journey provided Keir with an excellent opportunity to talk to some locals. The Ting Yan Water Festival had given way to the new year, and Bago was alive with Buddhist worship. We've stumbled upon a life release ceremony where fish that were destined to become food are released into the wild.
We actually seen a man with a bucket just go into this lake here, scoop up a load of fish, put them into these tanks, and then sell them to people to put them back into the lake. Best of luck, little buddies.
Well, how many of them were dead?
Rice and gelatin in it. It's alright, a bit strange.
Pretty much sums up all foreign food. You're right, it's strange.
Hello everybody, Minoba. Thank you for coming here today and good worship. I hope Buddha will do you proud for the coming year. Thank you. Chizubate. This ride is completely operated by hand.
Now the ride's finished and we're just dangling at the top. Pagoda over there.
Oh my god. Christ.
Getting the train to Mandalay, and from there we're going to head
What are
north
they
into
doing?
more
Why are
remote
they
areas.
Yeah, 15 hours in this train, just kill me now. What is your Facebook name?
So how come you became a monk?
I became a monk when I was young, when I was a kid, maybe 8 years.
8 years old, wow.
8 years old, yes.
Oh, okay. Do you like football?
Yes, I really like football. You know, I am the fan of Manchester United.
You're a fan of Manchester United?
I can see fear in your eyes, Alexis.
Yeah.
They're just going to get rid of all your hair.
I don't trust you being here as well. You're going to tell me stuff behind my back.
Like Justin Bieber, yes?
Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Not you.
It was time to leave Mandalay and venture into less visited lands. As a foreigner, this meant navigating a complex and ever-changing patchwork quilt of restricted areas. Behind all the friendly faces, Myanmar has a tense political situation and a long history of human rights violations. Tourists are encouraged to stick to the tourist areas. To evade suspicion from any questioning parties, we did some bad photoshopping.
I'm not chancing on that, no way.
It's hard to film because, as I speak, I'm actually on the roof of the vehicle. Hanging on for dear life, but it's great. This place is called Tea Room on Google Maps. Minglava.
Nice. Guess this is what life is like on the PS4. God. It's that guy. Fucking horse-drawn cart. You don't know how it is. Another barrel. This is the same barrel. Notice that go out of smartphones.
No foreigners are allowed to sleep in this town.
Smartphone.
They just don't allow foreigners here. Not sure why, it's one of the dodgy dodgy authoritarian policies.
Maybe they're just racist.
To have some license to house foreigners in your place.
We were forced to take a 20,000 kyat taxi back to Moniwa, the day's starting point. All our progress had been undone. And if we weren't going to be allowed to sleep anywhere outside big towns, our plan for the whole trip was seriously under threat. Even if we didn't manage to find a place to stay, we could always just sleep in the bush as a last resort. So the next morning we headed to the market to buy hammocks, or Chupa King, as they call them here.
They're just like, what the fuck?
Kind of found a sort of uncomfortable solution now. Big mosquito net and sleeping mat. We want to go to...
So we're trying to get them to take us to an empty stretch of road in the middle of nowhere so we can try and hitchhike to our location, which is a bit too far away for a taxi.
We want junction. We like to go to junctions. Junction. Petrol station.
No, don't understand what you're saying.
Naturally, these guys are quite confused about what we want.
Oh yeah.
I like how everyone looks more and more unhappy the further away from the tourist areas you get.
I just feel like the whole thing's about to fall apart. Okay. Okay. How old are you? 23 years old.
Yeah, we're in this little village and time is against us. The sun's going down. We're not sure if we're going to be able to stay here or not. It's either a great night, a celebratory beer and a walk around town at sunset, or a long, long slog into the bush to find a hard piece of ground to sleep on. Oh, alright, okay. Yeah. We headed to the town's only hotel and waited to hear if we'd be allowed to stay there.
We can't face the thought of another 3 hours like walking out into the bush and trying to find some crappy hard bit of ground to sit on.
They took our passports away for a good hour to come back and say, oh no, you can't stay there. So now we've got a race against time with the darkness closing in to go and find a place to probably pitch up our mosquito net, all because of just bureaucracy in this country.
Everyone's happy here apart from Kia.
So they were all incredibly happy to see us. We played the fun foreigners, but if only they knew the kind of we were stockpiling for the grimmest night we possibly ever had.
We're basically on some kind of agricultural / livestock cart heading out into the wilderness.
Yeah. It's got like crocodiles and shit.
We've reached our final destination. Chezuba. These guys have helped us out a lot. Now completely out of options, we headed out into the fields and tried to set up an improvised shelter.
What if it rains?
Night has fallen, and this is our home for the evening. Tarantula hole, just here.
Well, we don't know it's a tarantula hole. It could be a snake.
Yeah. And yeah, things could have turned out a lot worse in a way.
Should have bought a tent.
It's not actually that bad once you're inside.
This
As we lay on the ground, listening to the sounds from nearby Buddhist monasteries, all was peaceful, but it didn't last long.
Oh my god! Oh no! Oh dear!
Oh shit, they're getting closer.
Oh my god!
Hello, Mingalava. No problem.
Fucking hell.
We had been cornered by an angry mob. We had our hands up. We were like, it's okay, it's okay. And we managed to kind of very diplomatically kind of start a peace process. Fulham, you know Fulham? Fulham this year, very bad.
I explained exactly where we'd been and where we were going, because there was a national park that way,
So I think I managed to get through with the Translate app that we were going there and we weren't just like spying on the village or evil demons in the forest.
Came at us with sticks in
Oh,
the dark. Then we became best of friends. These days in this technical age, it's hard to make friends. Maybe people should try this more often.
So then we were transported basically back to the village and we realised just how many people were out looking for us. We saw loads of lights of other groups of people looking and shouting and people on the phone.
And then we got back to the village, and there was a massive crowd.
People
both
just
sides
lining
of
the
road.
streets like the end of a marathon or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look at this.
This can't be for us, surely.
No, this is for us, yeah. The whole village has come out.
God.
Mingalaba!
Like local celebrities.
Mingalaba! Thank you, it means a lot.
Just went with these two guys back to the house, had some tea with the wife, ate some bananas.
Landscape, my country.
Really been a big turnaround. Thinking we might be lynched 15 minutes ago.
Word got around that we were there, so everyone literally, the whole village came into that man's house. I played a nice concert for them, of course, because what situation can't be diffused with a guitar and some badly sung songs.
He's all Seth Harrison, and he looks like a meth head.
But by then, the mood had shifted from suspicion and anger to like complete just adoration. The head man was very friendly, wanted us to stay at his house, and just as it looked like we were going to have a great experience.
It was looking good.
2 cars pulled up. The crowd scattered. A bunch of stern policemen walked over and questioned us. They told us we were in a restricted area and needed to go with them.
Dear. You had some kind of secret camera.
Until they asked us to play the guitar.
And they were just going crazy in the car, like whooping and shouting and singing along and singing everything as we were singing.
We couldn't film much of it because we were worried that if we showed the camera, you know, they think we were journalists or whatever and get really angry. But I think we managed to catch a bit of audio of them singing along to an improvised song.
Yeah, next time like just have a hidden camera. Like make it look like a button or something.
And then we got back to the same hotel we were not allowed to sleep in quite a few hours earlier. And all the police came along and it's one song again, and a similar thing happened where we were playing, people were loving it, people were filming us on their phone, but then more and more official people kept turning up, like various army officials and people with increasingly serious looking uniforms. And we're thinking, shit, okay. I've lost my visa letter, don't tell anybody, just got it on my phone, so we were a bit worried, but after sitting around and taking photos of our passport, let's go.
It's the morning after, and we're pretty much being forcibly escorted out of the village. The police have told the hotel owner to make sure we get on a bus back to Myanmar.
Once the adrenaline of the previous night had worn off, we realised we were back to square one. Stuck in the uninspiring town of Moniwa and unable to venture off the beaten track without the immediate threat of being lynched or arrested.
Moniwa Blues, transportation ticketing queue.
Not great.
Oh, Moniwa Blues should be passing straight through.
Heading to a extinct volcano now. Yes.
Yeah, I think this guy's right.
We had to rethink our plans. Chin State caught our eye. We hoped that the lack of infrastructure in this mountainous region would make it hard for the authorities to have much of a presence.
So the next morning, we got up at 3 a.m. and headed to the riverboat terminal.
We're going to Kaliwa, Kaliwa, Moya, Monua, Kaliwa, Kaliwa, Moya, Kaliwa.
Now you're getting robbed.
Hawkers getting aboard. Whenever the hawkers come aboard this boat, it gets so intense. They've got like really, really loud, powerful voices from years of training.
Oh my god.
We've been on this boat for about 8 hours now.
I don't really need to learn how to sell. It's like watch the Wolf of Wall Street or something. People don't want your fucking shells. No one's in the market for a shell.
Headed down to the river, which seemed to be the central hub of activity.
What's the name of this place?
This place is Myanmar.
That's the name of the river.
Yes, the river name is Myanmar.
Where did you learn English?
Oh, I learn here. I read English newspaper.
Oh,
Nice.
you read English newspaper.
Yes.
Here, a lot of the history.
What's the history?
Somebody got the gold and silver, like they got a lot of.
To be fair, English is pretty
We
good.
cannot take the gold.
No gold anymore.
Yeah. It's Mr. Bridge.
Mr. Bridge.
Yes.
Ah.
Nita.
Oh, I thought you said Mr. Bridge.
Nita.
Bidder.
Yeah.
I'm chewing the bidder.
Ah, the beta.
Yes, do you like bidder?
We have not tried it.
Kira's having a swim with the local district policeman. Definitely a useful friend to have.
We've been driving up into the mountains at very slow speeds with these two guys. Now we're at a very sort of chilled, ramshackle motorway service station.
It doesn't look
People are
stable.
cooking us dinner.
I wouldn't want to live there.
He seems to just be painting the middle beams purple, despite the fact that most of it is just a loose framework waiting to fall into the abyss.
Closed off for more than 50 years, Chin State had only recently been open to
Look
foreigners.
at that guy gone.
It's like visiting a different country altogether. The people here were Christian, not Buddhist, and made up of a myriad of ethnic minority groups.
As the least densely populated region of Myanmar, we were confident that we could roam more freely here, without the ever-watching eye of the authorities.
But it didn't take us long to run into the police.
Oh, you are police? Oh, nice to meet you. I thought he was saying, oh, we've got to be careful of the police because there's 3 of us on the back of a motorbike, but turns out he was actually the police. But then as the evening progressed, we weren't so sure if he was police or not. Good stuff.
This guy is both a police officer, our taxi driver, and our waiter, apparently.
Sitting next to the restaurant's generator, we ate our dinner while this man filmed us from a variety of different angles. We weren't sure who he was, a policeman, a drunk claiming to be a policeman, or a brand ambassador for Myanmar beer.
Myanmar beer.
Myanmar beer, yes.
Oh my god. You're like serial killer, rapist. Praising white boys.
It's the best way to finish the day.
Okay. I take the camera then, bro.
But our friend didn't want to give me the camera, and instead headed out of the restaurant.
Fred didn't know what you were saying.
At this point we're still upstairs, unsure if we'll ever see the camera again. But his intentions seem to be innocent. He just wants to get us some nice shots. This drunk policeman's cinematic vision knows no bounds. Next he decides to walk straight into the restaurant's kitchen.
Can you run the restaurant? This seems quite drunk.
Eventually Kia manages to retrieve the camera, then gets forcibly offered a drink by a group of very dodgy characters.
Okay?
Yeah, okay with them.
This is Tedim, a small chilled out mountain town, which is actually one of the biggest habitations in Chin State. There's no public transport here, and we failed to hitchhike due to the lack of cars, so we're going to try and rent motorbikes.
Yeah, I really do not trust leaving my safety in the hands of a bike that doesn't start properly.
Yeah, it doesn't start and it's fucking shot. Imagine if you're stuck on the side of a mountain.
So we rented 2 motorbikes, and mine's highly questionable to say the least. It's almost impossible to start, it's very jumpy, the fuel gauge doesn't work, and there are no mirrors.
Here, struggling to master a motorbike.
I've never driven a
Alex is struggling with manual tasks, as per. Anything that requires hand-eye coordination.
You know what, I actually was not struggling with it until you said that. Like, you said that out of nowhere. I did it completely fine.
This is Fu Ti, our English-speaking friend. Is that your name?
Vumpi.
Vumpi.
Yes.
Close enough. Thanks, Vumpi. John Powell and Rose.
Yeah.
Our friends in the village. John Powell's kindly showing us around.
Nowadays, everyone here is a Christian. But in the past, when the villagers followed an animistic spirit religion, cows were regularly sacrificed on this spot.
But how long ago was it?
15 or 20 years.
Oh, okay. That's quite recent.
Yeah, I was thinking 20 years.
Get back into its natural habitat of doing shots.
What the fuck is that? Is that water?
Oh wow, it's so strong.
It's
So do you drink this straight? No coke
And this is wine. Wow.
Had a few sips. Unfortunately, they don't seem to understand that because we're driving, we can't drink too much.
Yeah.
It just keeps refilling the cup. Whenever the cup is empty, the top comes off and the refill comes.
From here also we can have.
So Alexis is about to try the rice wine bong, effectively.
So just drink from here, yeah? Yeah. It's definitely a novel way of drinking. It's more interesting than drinking from just a glass.
Yes.
Visions of you in shades of blue. So I like that.
Nice.
Old song. That's 1964 song. Yeah. We'll still sailing Valentine, birthday greeting, bottle of wine, doing the garden, digging the weeds. I forgot all already.
I like it, man. It sounds so good.
If you still need me, if you still feed me, when I'm 64.
Jesus. It's inflammable. Look at that dust cloud.
Care. Yeah, I have one of my friends also care.
Yeah? K-E-I-R.
Yeah, E-I-R.
Oh wow, it's a rare name. I
Yeah.
don't think many people.
Carry. What he see? Woman.
Obvious a bit of miscommunication going on there.
One in front of Baghdad as well.
It never come to yeah.
So we've been invited to stay in a village, which is exciting.
Jesus Christ, 2000 years ago, he came down from heaven. He died for us, our sin.
Korm had come back to the village from Yangon for her mother's funeral. In the evening, she invited us to the funeral celebration where friends and family gathered to pay their respects. After a brief speech from the pastor, it turned into a very musical affair.
wasn't long until we were asked to say a few words, which were translated by Corm.
It has been very nice to meet all of you and
Christ.
to share this evening.
Guests of honour.
I would just like to say that although we never had the chance to meet the woman who died, the atmosphere here is amazing, and it's great that despite the fact it's a sad occasion, everybody can be so happy. Long damn.
Crash a funeral.
Be sure that the stock gets. I am thinking to throw my cordovers away. Money isn't everything, is what they say. Especially when it's a really hard closing. Okay, thank you. My listen every time, bam, 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 bam. My listen every time, bam, 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 bam. My listen every time, we are one shot in the evening. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry
What's this song?
Oh my heart.
Is he wishing us a Merry Christmas? That's what it sounds like.
Hallelujah!
What if these people have written films before? They know how to pitch this. Oh, these people obviously do.
Hospitality. It's
Aww.
a silly gift, but
Yeah, we just made one. We said we want to give it to somebody who we meet on our trip. So you guys have been so nice to us. This is Ree Lake. It's popular because it looks a bit like a heart, and it's the closest thing to a tourist attraction in northern Chin State. Before Christianity came to the area, Ree Lake was believed by the local Mizo people to be a sacred gateway to the afterlife. And that's India. Unfortunately, as we're not local, we don't have a visa, we're strictly not allowed to enter, so we're stuck in this charmless border town. My plan was to eat breakfast on the Indian side of the border, just a short hop across the river. We've been watched by Burmese immigration over there, and an Indian soldier with a machine gun over there. On the plus side, the chickpea sticks, which have probably been on the shelf for years and were covered in dust, were surprisingly good.
there it is, India, just there, meters away.
Oh my god!
This is Paul, he's helping us out tonight. We're going to stay at his house. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
The young people of the village are driving our bikes. Paul's only been living here about a week himself, recently relocated as the new village pastor.
How often do the houses have electricity? Is it all the time, or is it
Oh, no,
occasionally?
only night time.
Only night
And
time.
they will open this 7:30 or 8, and they will close this back this around 10 or maybe 9.
Okay.
That is depend on water. And when we have water more, this life we have more.
Right.
We even have a few hours of electricity. We're expecting it to turn off at any point in the next half hour, which gives any reading or writing activities an exciting edge, because you never quite know when they're going to finish. So So this is our new gunman friend. Just found out that he works at the local primary school.
What the fuck gun is that? It looks like a musket.
Primary headmaster.
Yeah. 26 years.
Ah.
I hope we will meet again. Yeah.
Wouldn't bank on it.
Too, Paul. There were no paths marked on the map for the next leg of our journey, but Paul pointed us towards a small dust track which led to the next village, some 60 miles away. We were set to travel into what was surely the most remote area we'd ever been to on any of our travels.
Yeah, anyone who sees us now is just going to be like, what are they doing here? There's no reason for them to be here.
But conditions weren't ideal. The riding was increasingly difficult, and I seemed to be coming down with some sort of tropical flu.
Whenever I stop, my fingers start tingling and I have these weird head rushes. It's really not the best condition to be doing this road in, but the adrenaline helps to some extent.
You got to have real concentration on the road. You can't have a split second just looking to the side.
The potential drops are getting steeper and steeper.
Ah, you survived that.
Incredibly beautiful landscape we're driving through here. Proper tropical rainforest now, high up on the side of the mountain.
Shit.
This guy doesn't know what to make of us. 5 hours later we arrived at Bo Chung village, where the locals were very surprised to see us. We've been invited to this guy's house.
All the way through here.
Suddenly, a group of agitated men entered the room, the village council. They were discussing why we were there and whether or not we could stay. Then an English speaker arrived. How do you think the people of the village felt when they saw us?
You know what? The surprise. I mean, they're surprised and they feel nervous because it's the first time that they see what people are. I mean, you guys the first time.
Wow.
Okay, remember that you guys are the first time entering here in this village. Don't feel scared, alright? Feel free to stay here.
Oh, thank you.
As you want, guys, you can stay here.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever.
Oh, I just make orange juice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Excellent.
And this is Mr. Ting's sister. What's your name?
Annie. My name is Annie.
Annie.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to meet you, Annie.
We later found out this was the first time foreigners had come to the village since the 1930s. We were very lucky to meet Ting and Annie, who had grown up in the village but had since moved to Dubai and Singapore and had returned to visit family.
We're so lucky we've arrived when there's a wedding. Yeah. It's great.
This
This is our table of honour. Everyone's very surprised to see us. Confusion all around.
Oh, nice.
The two people got married.
No, they're inside. Inside. Yeah.
Our friends, the bride and groom.
To be honest, they're really proud that their wedding day.
Yeah.
They have these white people from the foreigners, so they really feel great.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they told me that.
Yeah, this isn't as much of a banger as the other songs.
I've got 9 million Cordobas sitting in my pocket. Nicaraguan currency, be sure that's to stock it. But I am thinking of throwing my Cordobas away. Yo, mic check. Without bread, we'd be dead. So many people wouldn't be fed. You don't like bread, you got a hole in your head. So listen up now to what I said. This is a fable about a bagel. Rice is okay, but bread is my staple. And eating bread
They were probably expecting you to do like something good.
my guardian angel. Ciabatta, naan, flat bread from Iran. Finest malt loaf from Turkmenistan. A cheese bread is Germany's Oliver Kahn. Every type of loaf has got a certain charm. Quick freestyle. Okay. We came from English silver birch to go to a Chin church. And village hospitality cures me of my malady and helped me rhyme happily. Kalumi.
But the fun didn't end there. The head of the village council and his friend took to the stage to do a skit imitating us.
We are the park. I never have reached. You will not love me. I am mistaught. I am short.
Pretty good though. Comedy duo.
Great stuff.
Here me opposite.
Oh no, I'm lucky. You did.
So we have breakfast here with our hosts.
Hello? For breakfast.
Oh, I bet they cooked you a feast.
We here we don't have.
Driving up a pretty intense road to get to some forest.
Uninjured for the time being.
After an hour struggling along an incredibly difficult path, Annie on the back of my bike, we arrived at this amazing place. According to the local village legend, hundreds of years ago this place was infested by evil spirits, before the first Christians of the area banished them. I don't think I've ever done such an intense range of things while being ill, but it's been great, you know, we've been shown around by these guys, and yesterday we went to a wedding ceremony, did a rap. Probably the highlight of our trip these last couple of days up in Chin State. Loving life.
What do you think of Alexa's driving?
Oh, it's good.
Very good?
Yeah,
Says
not
good.
really good, but
Alex's. So this is about as good as the road got today.
Just chew it.
Yeah, chew it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Does it affect your head a bit? Make it a bit rough?
Before,
So?
how to say? They are very old. We dig.
Yeah.
And after digging, the coffin inside. I would never stay here for 1 month.
Why not?
This ghost. There's no ghost. We're Christian.
Yeah.
Boy, I miss your kisses all the time, but this is 25 minutes too late. You know the song?
I don't know it, but it sounds beautiful.
Don't know what they're doing, but it doesn't sound like Christianity to me. What are they doing?
You guys live in England, so because everybody knows that David Beckham's one of the most famous guys. Have you guys talked?
That's him. I can't say I've met David Beckham. I haven't met David Beckham, but I do have John Collins' autograph.
Okay.
He's another football player. That
Very obscure football
I don't know if anybody else has heard of him in the room.
John Collins.
John Collins.
John Collins.
The founder of their church is British. They kind of associate British people with Christianity being brought here, and Christianity is huge for them, hugely important. So it's kind of overwhelming how much of an event us turning up is. But also, yeah, just been amazed by how hospitable people have been here.
More pain. Sorry? Which place are you especially more have pain? Oh god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I want to join in, run over and kick you in the shins.
basically wild animals.
So, tell me, what language do you speak in your family?
Two language, Flam and Mizo. If we speak with my mother, we use Flam. Then if we speak with my father, we use Mizo.
And what about if your mother and your father want to speak to each other?
Oh, they use their own language. My mother will use her own language and my father use his own language. Then they can understand each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing our last tour of the village, and it's kind of perfectly acceptable to just wander into anybody's house here, which is pretty cool. We're in King's uncle's house. It must be difficult in such a small village if you have a disagreement with somebody, because it's such
really
a small
hard.
space.
Yeah. If they disagree, they have a big problem. And if you go to village council, they try to solve the problem. If they can do that, it's okay. If they don't, then we need to go to Flam, our capital place. I can eat here too. The fruits.
Hey, nice. Thanks, man.
What are these?
Plums, right?
Plums, I think, yeah, kind of plums.
Oh, nice. I like this guy. He's nice.
Next, we met the former head of the village, who was a big fan of the British Empire.
He was told by his grandpa at the British time, and it would be very past.
British people will kind of find that a bit strange because we're a little bit ashamed of, in the past, conquering all of the world and having a big empire.
I'm not.
Because many bad things happen with the empire.
We don't see the bad things done by the British people. We only see the good things he say. British young people might be ashamed that what the British army did the past and the bad thing about conquering the huge empires and all kind of things. But what he say is that we are regret that the British Empire, the British people did not conquer us till today. Because if they conquer us and if the empire is still even in today will be more developed more than this.
On this colonial note, it was time to leave the village. Bochum had exceeded all expectations, and the hospitality we'd experienced here had been incredible. But with the rainy season closing in, we needed to get back to Tedim fast, before the already challenging roads became completely impassable.
We've had a lot of cool village experiences before, but this has just been kind of a like village experience on steroids.
Yeah.
Just everything magnified.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that the very same village councillors who were interrogating us when we arrived would be a few hours later kind of mocking us and pretending to be us in a kind of village show.
We were especially going to miss Annie and Ting and their family, who had been amazing these past few days. So this is the guy I rented the motorbike from. He didn't even ask for a passport or anything, he just trusted I would return it. And the bike, yeah. We broke up the long journey south by spending a couple of nights at a monastic school, on invitation from the monks we'd met earlier in our trip. It had been quite a trip.
So funny.
Playing football with some monks was the perfect way to finish it.
Like, you know, aesthetics, don't have any pleasure, that guy just playing fucking video games with his phone. Consumerism from a monk.
Yeah, S-E-I. ကျွန်တော်ရေးစားလေးအကြောင်းအားလုံးသိအောင်ပြောပြမယ်ကမ္ဘာမြေတော့ကကြီးအလှပသူ့သဘောကျတယ်အဖြူရဲ့လေးပေါ်သူ့ရဲ့စိတ်ဓာတ်ကအလှဆဲပိတ်သက်တွေတအားချက်တဲ့ make up artist အကြီးကတဲ့ချက်လို့သူငါဘဝကိုစိတ်ချချင်တာအပြည့်နဲ့ night ရှင်းစရာမတွေ့ခဲ့
Making sex, the fried fish with some oil. Yeah, that was good. Really enjoyed that. Thank you, Alexis. Yeah.